One more sleep until a Seattle Kraken game day. And I think the question we have to ask is, what's your favorite Sandler movie?
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Seattle hockey fans, welcome back to another episode of Locked On Kraken. This one on Halloween. Happy Halloween. For those watching on YouTube, you can see we've got our special decorative border. And I also am wearing my Kraken 5K glow-in-the-dark sunglasses. We'll talk more about the Abyss Awakening later in the episode. But, we are going to get into what we heard from Lane Lambert regarding a laundry list of updates when it came to some injuries. Then we're going to take you over to our partners at King 5, who caught up with all three goalies about their masks, their mask design, including that all goalies have a special glow-in-the-dark element because, of course, the Abyss will officially awaken for the first time this season tomorrow as the Seattle Kraken will wear their third jerseys, their alternate jerseys with the bioluminescence and all of the things. So we'll get to hear how the goalies prepared for that. And then, of course, talk about the game itself. Yes, a little bit about the design of the jerseys, but more so about taking on the New York Rangers, who, of course, Ryan Lindgren and Kappo Kakko know. Speaking of Kappo Kakko, he was one of the names that and the players that Lane Lambert talked about. Kappo Kakko getting back on the ice, able to participate in practice. We also are going to hear an update a little bit on Riker Evans, etc. But as Lane talks about today, it's what I mentioned the other day, in that the injuries are giving opportunity to some young players, but it also is like what's going to happen when these guys get healthy. And I cut off the clip. I was very tired recording from the convention center the other night, and so I cut the clip. I forgot to return to the clip where Lane Lambert was talking about Kappo Kakko. But this is a player who, offensively speaking, the Seattle Kraken absolutely want back into the lineup. Striatic, one of our everydayers, we appreciate. And loyal listeners talked about the Seattle Kraken and their percentage of goals above expected is really high. Now, I've talked about the goals above expected stat before, more so on how we describe if the Seattle Kraken defense is actually any good. So, I take that with a grain of salt because expected by what calculations, and those are just that, expectations. So I think take it with a grain of salt, but it is also it's an interesting stat, knowing that what I've been saying is that this is a team that we don't know if they have sustainability. And I think that there are areas where you expect them to grow, but in the areas that they're able to execute on now, are they going to be able to grow or even just sustain where they're at in some of the areas that they are performing well in? So, it's going to be interesting to see how the Seattle Kraken team is able to evolve, refine things, and really take matters into their own hands, and not just ride the wave of luck. But that's the thing. I don't think this team really sees it as such. I think that this is a team that, they like what they're doing in areas, and they know they have to do that in more areas. So I get the sense they're focused on one or two tasks a game. They get to those two tasks, they feel good, and then they move on. But the thing is that the list is really long for this Kraken team on what we need to see from them to say that it's truly forward progress. So that's like, do we have enough time? Is he going to get it done? But again, by what timeline? What is the timeline? What is the expectation? And I don't know that that's necessarily clear. But anyway, here's what Lane Lambert had to say about injury updates. It's a lot.
It's good to see him. Certainly, he looks good. His skating looks good. So, I think he's done a good job of working and getting himself back into a position. And, our training staff has done a great job, medical team and the strength and conditioning team. So we'll see where he progresses from here.
And I asked you about McCann the other day.
He's still, he's a day-to-day, and we're just monitoring as we go by. But there's no real news from that standpoint other than day-to-day.
And how is Freddie Gaudreau progressing from his injury?
He's doing pretty good. I guess it's been 2 weeks now, I think, and he was on the ice for a brief period of time. So again, there's progression there, but again, he's not expected back for a while.
Lane Kappo got some more reps today. Any update on him?
Obviously, I think he looks pretty good in practice. He's still on IR, but he definitely did get more reps, and we're working towards, a return for him. But again, still on IR.
All things considered, you guys had a pretty successful first month of the season here, despite all the injuries and absences and things. What kind of a boost will it be for the team to get a guy like Kappo Kakko into the lineup for the first time?
Well, it'll definitely be a boost. We're looking forward to, some of our injured guys getting back, but at the same time, we've kind of gone with the mantra next man up, and I think there's been a lot of players do a really good job in those guys' absence, but we'll see where we go from here. Oftentimes you get into a rhythm, and then you bring a couple, 3 injured guys back, and it takes you a little bit out of rhythm, but we got to make sure that doesn't happen to us. Well, I didn't know him as a player prior to coming in. What I've seen from him is he's responsible, he can skate, he gets elevated, and certainly has been elevated a couple of times in a couple of different games. For his defensive awareness and his responsibility from that standpoint and his ability to skate. So, I think he's done a great job. And I think there's more to come from him, and we'll just continue to work with him and continue his progression.
Yeah, so I wanted to keep that piece in again. That was Lane Lambert speaking first just about the injuries, kind of the updates there. But then the last player that he was talking about was Ryan Winterton. And I've said this before. I know we have some people, some of our everydayers who Ryan Winterton isn't their favorite player. And I get it. I feel the obligation to stand for Ryan Winterton and to protect and defend him. That being said, I just don't agree. I think that what you heard from Lane Lambert is exactly what I've been seeing, is that he's definitely not a defensive liability. So when you have a team, when you have a head coach that wants this to be a defensively sound team, guys that play solid defense are going to get significant minutes. And the thing is that this team isn't necessarily looking for Ryan Winterton to be their saving grace offensively. Now, can he contribute offensively? Of course. Will he, hopefully, if the Seattle Kraken starts building again on their foundation, will he be able to contribute more in that way? Hopefully, but he has to then make sure that his game is refined and evolved in a way where he can be supportive in that way as well. But for now, he's the right kind of player for this Lane Lambert system. But anyway, coming up, we're going to hear about the goalies and their masks. King 5 ran a segment where each of the goalies explains their masks, including ones that we will see for the Bioluminescence Festival that will happen on Saturday, which is also Dia de los Muertos. So lots of fun festivities around in Seattle. And of course, we'll get you ready for the game with some stats and facts you need to know ahead of the Seattle Kraken hosting the New York Rangers on Saturday. Today's episode of Locked On Kraken, brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache between waiting in the queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout. It's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. Well, that's where Game Time comes in. You can grab your seats right off of the app, and it couldn't be simpler. You get good seats in minutes. You can take a look at the seats that you're thinking of purchasing before you make the purchase. You can get the view from your seats, and the thing I love is that you can ball on a budget, because Game Time will show you the full fee, all no hidden fees, I should say. The full price, no hidden fees, all inclusive, so that you can ball on a budget. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go. Hey there, thanks as always for making Locked On Kraken a part of your daily destination. As I said, Erica L. Ayala here, your host of Locked On Kraken, also an accredited media member for Milano Cortina. And as I had mentioned earlier, I was at the Team USA Summit earlier this week. There wasn't really any NHL representation. Brady Tkachuk was there virtually with a few other people like Layla Edwards and Alana Myers-Taylor. They were all there virtual, but I did get a lot of intel from Hillary Knight, who was there and was like, well, I'll see you in Seattle soon, right? I was like, you sure will, Hillary Knight. So Seattle, actually, PWHL Seattle is also going to have an announcement on November 6th. And once again, we will have representation from Locked On Kraken there for the announcement. And I will get you all of those details as they come in. But right now, I want to give you the deets when it comes to your favorite goaltenders and their masks. Now, we know the goalies have a lot of fun when it comes to putting their masks together. And we were able to hear, or I should say that King 5, our Tegna partner, and your local regional affiliate, NBC affiliate, was able to catch up with the goaltenders to ask them about their masks. So we're talking Matt Murray, Philipp Grubauer, and of course, Joey Daccord. So let's take a listen into some of these masks. And again, how they prepared for what will be a menacing Saturday when the Seattle Kraken drop their new alternate jerseys. But here is a King 5 segment that I really enjoyed. It's part of a larger feature. Matt Murray talked about coming back from significant injury. So Kraken home ice is what you should be watching on King 5. If not, we'll give you every once in a while some of the snippets from the segments, including this one on goalie masks.
It's honestly one of the coolest parts of playing goalie.
Goaltenders have a unique freedom on the ice. While they're saving pucks, they're doing it in style, a style their very own. Goalies can customize their own gear, which makes for a series of menacing masks. Joey Daccord works with his artist, Shifty, back in Arizona to create his Kraken masterpieces.
I told him for this one I wanted big S's that float in the dark. For this one I said I wanted similar to last year, and I wanted some mountains and stuff on it, and I wanted the big Kraken on the side. So the rest he kind of comes up with on his own, and he does an incredible job. So I let him cook a little bit.
When defending the net at home, Joey is armed with a mask that gives nods to his favorite things.
I always got Bowie on my home mask because he's my guy. Kraken here, big S logo. Number 35. Here's Sparky the Sun Devil. And then wanted to get some of the Seattle kind of Pacific Northwest stuff. So we got mountains, Space Needle.
And when he's in enemy territory, he always carries part of the PNW with him.
A lot more white and a lot more of like the ice blue colors. 35 on the chin. Again, we got like some trees. Kraken S, Sparky's right here. Kraken written on the top, and then some mountains kind of hidden in the back. And then wanted to throw the Anchor logo on, so we got the Anchor logo.
Each player's masks tell a different story. Philipp Grubauer works with Dave Art back in Sweden to craft a mask that has all the things that make Gruby the goalie he is.
Love fishing, so I put fly fishing up there, the city in the background. I always have my horse in a couple small details. There's actually me roping a cow.
His second helmet is designed by a local artist, Preston Singletary.
I love the indigenous because there's so much like history and artwork that goes into it, and it represents the Coast Salish. So I love this one. I think this one is really cool.
Both Joey and Gruby also have a new helmet to go with their new all-black threads.
We wanted to go pretty bold with it, so big S logos, big eyes, Kraken eyes, 35 on the front. We got a black cage with like some splatter marks on it. All this color of blue all glows in the dark.
I think this one is really cool because it's got a couple couple small details, the bubble. Then in the background you see a couple Kraken logos. The theme was a little mean looking.
The newest netminder comes to Seattle with his own style as well.
But I've always kind of done the same thing, tried to stay consistent, and I just like the simple look.
Matt Murray works with Steph Bergeron out of Montreal, the same mask designer he's been with for a number of years. The two of them had fun with his gear this season.
I usually keep it pretty simple, just do kind of one logo on each side, keep it symmetrical, and then I like to do the stripe down the middle.
And for the all-black uniform, his helmet will glow right along with his jersey.
Very, very simple here. This will really pop in the black light. Same thing with the logos. It's all glow-in-the-dark paint, so it should look really cool with those jerseys. Also went with the chrome cage, which is a little different.
Those are your Seattle Kraken and their jerseys. Again, also, this is a celebration over the weekend of Dia de los Muertos. So for everyone who celebrates that and welcoming back your ancestry, I hope you enjoy. But I love those segments that we're able to see. Again, the Kraken Hockey Network and King 5, our Tegna affiliate, be able to put together. And Matt Murray, again, was on a longer part of that segment talking about coming back from injury and not knowing how you're going to necessarily get back to what you're used to and accustomed to. Joey Daccord talking about his off season and that how he thinks that tennis is like a perfect sport for cross training and things of that nature. So Kraken Home Ice, really great segments. I think that was episode 2 where the goalie mask segment was. So definitely check that out. And again, since we are a part of the Tegna family, when we can, we'll highlight some of those special packages that run on King 5. But let's get ready for the Abyss Awakening that is happening at Climate Pledge Arena, where the Seattle Kraken will host the New York Rangers. So ironically enough, I'm in New York right now visiting family. And then I won't be in Seattle coming soon, but we'll get into that as we continue on throughout next week on Locked On Kraken. But coming up next, again, let's get you ready for that Rangers at Kraken game this weekend. Today's episode of Locked On Kraken brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. We know the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play. And you can play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, Seattle hockey fans, you can see I have my glasses. They do glow in the dark. It wouldn't be a very stunning or visually enticing video podcast, if I shut the lights off here. But you just got to trust me. And I've got some ways that I'm going to have fun on our post-game recap for tomorrow. So, just stay tuned. Hopefully it'll be a win. Then it'll be even more fun. But the Seattle Kraken will be hosting the New York Rangers. The Rangers are 5-2-3 as they come into Climate Pledge Arena, the Kraken are 5-2-3. The Rangers are 5-5-2 as they come into Climate Pledge Arena. Gene Schwartz is our points leader in the last 5 games, 5 points in the last 5 games. Eberle has 4 goals in the last 5 games, and Matty B has 3 assists in the last 5 games. Alexis Lafreniere also with 3 assists in his last 5 games. And Taylor Radish leads the team with points and goals, 4 points, 4 goals in the last 5 games. When we look at this Rangers squad, 30th on the power play to your Seattle Kraken, that is in the top 20% on the power play, 64% though on the penalty kill. That number we've seen drop there. 29th overall compared to the Blue Shirts. They're 87.1% on the penalty kill, a power kill, if you will. So we got to make sure we're staying clean, because even if we have an advantage, well, the Rangers are pretty solid. Face-offs also advantage Rangers. They're in the top 5 at the 5th position right now with a 53.9% clip. We heard Shane Wright talking to the amazing Allison Lucan about that, and that there's a lot of different ways to try and win the face-off, even if you don't get it clean, but it's about obviously getting possession and what happens after the face-off. So that continues to be a spot where the Kraken want to clean up. They're at a 45.1% clip, 29th overall in the league. Goals for, neither team with more than 3 goals on average per game, though the Kraken are closer at 2.80 versus 2.33. Goals against, if you are Canadian, 2.42 for the Rangers. That's best for 3rd in the NHL. The Seattle Kraken, 10th at 2.80. For the Seattle Kraken, the name of the game here is to lean into their defensive identity, solid defense early on, good communication, but that also has to come with enough energy and being able to win those 50-50 pucks and take advantage of the space on the ice. Sometimes the Kraken, not just the Kraken, but specifically I'll talk about the Kraken, they can try to feel out a game, but we know that they perform best when they're able to attack the game early and they score first, or at least keep the other team off the board. So want to really see them be able to attack their game early, but not just to hunker down defensively, which we know they can do, but to be more active in their defensive pursuits in all 3 zones. That will kind of get them moving to the net. Speaking of moving to the net, the Seattle Kraken, that net front presence, not only do we want to see them in front of the net, but taking shots in front of the net, really getting pucks to the front of the net, as well as bodies. And then I said this before, and Allison asked about the difference between maybe getting offense on breakaways or in transition versus in your set offensive zone. I think when the Kraken were playing some of their best hockey early in this season, right out the gate, what they were doing, and Brandon Montour has led this early on. And I think we even saw that, even though they fell in overtime to Montreal, Brandon Montour and what he was able to do in that 3rd period really stimulated the excitement offensively, because he willed himself to win the puck. He was in 50-50 battles to then win 50-50 battles. And sometimes that means breakaway opportunities. So again, being an opportunistic ice hockey team is what I want to see. And they have to bring the excitement or the electricity, if you will, because the Abyss awakens tomorrow. That's right. The 3rd jerseys, the alternate jerseys, the bioluminescence inspired jerseys, aka they're gonna glow in the dark. And you just heard about the guys and their hockey masks to match. We've been talking about it on the show. The guys have been breaking in their black pads, their matte black helmets. We've talked about and that the logo in center ice is a different color. And I don't think that's just, to be fun. I think it's because it's going to be a part of the show tomorrow on Saturday. So I'm so excited. If you're going to that game, let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media. I will be watching and listening from a distance, but I will be getting to some of those Abyss Awakens alternate 3rd jersey games when I'm in town, which is coming up soon, actually, even sooner than I thought, because there's news not just for PWHL Seattle next week. We're expecting it's their jersey and the actual team name this time, but also the Seattle Storm will be introducing officially their new head coach. And so yours truly couldn't resist. There's just too much going on in all of the Seattle sports that I cover. So I'm coming in even earlier than I thought, and will be in Seattle for a significant portion, basically all of November at this point, to hang out with you, give you content and coverage, not just of the Seattle Kraken, but PWHL Seattle, the Seattle Storm, And of course, getting you ready because we are under 100 days until Milan Cortina. At least that's how we say it in the States. In Italy, they say Milano Cortina 2026. I'm so excited for that. I have some, again, stuff I want to show you. We'll have bonus episodes and stuff of that nature. And if you're not already subscribed, if you're not already following Locked on Kraken, now's the time to do it, because before the end of the year, we're going to have fun and exciting ways that on a daily basis and in different multimedia ways, you can stay locked on not just Seattle Kraken hockey, but Seattle hockey overall. And we have some fun things, some things that are coming down from the organization or the Locked On Network, and then the ways that we are going to do it right here on Locked On Kraken. So we'll have all those fun plans at the start of December for you. But first, we have a game tomorrow. So a reminder to be kind to yourself, extend that kindness to others. Happy Halloween, un buen dia de los muertos. And a reminder, let's hold fast, let's stay true, and loud and proud we say, let's go Kraken. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace out, everybody.